Hello, friend, and welcome. If you're new here, I'm super excited to meet you. And if you're returning, I hope you're having a much better day than the last time that we talked. Today, I just want to focus on what it is that we need to do in better to love ourselves. And the reason why I'm focusing on self-love reading today is because if you're watching this around the time of the recording, you know that there's that overly capitalistic holiday that tries to, put pressure on you to have another partner in order to make yourself happy. So I want to focus on helping you focus on yourself. So first, I just want to actually pull out the tarot cards and know what it is that is keeping you from, having a positive, relationship with yourself. Those cards literally flew. So let's get in here. And before I even dive in real quick, I just want to remind you, this reading isn't meant to put you down in any way, because the hardest person to love is yourself. It's real easy to love other people. It's not so easy to love ourselves for whatever reason. So understand, as this reading goes forward, whatever the message is, give yourself grace. Give yourself grace to understand that you are doing your best. And with that in mind, let's see what we have. All right, Page of Swords. So when I see the Page of Swords, I understand that you're at a space and a place where you're seeing things differently. You've had a perception shift, or you're starting to think differently and feel differently about things. What I love about this card, though, is the card shows a bird flying through a thunderstorm. I don't know what bird it is. I'm not a great, bird identifier. So we're just going to call it the bird. Here, the thing is, though, is this is really reminiscent of what you are most likely going through right now. It's one of those where the storm represents all those external voices, your parents, your colleagues, society, and what everyone says that you should be doing, or what you should act like, or what you should be, when your own internal reality is none of that feels right. And that's okay. It's okay that your own internal reality might feel different than what's around you, the external. I'm a big believer in, as long as you're not hurting yourself or anybody else, just do you. Be you, authentically 100% be you. And right now, you're just trying to navigate who you are and what you are and where you're going, and that is okay. So when I see this card, I understand that right now, you're navigating the storm. And it's going to be bumpy and it's going to be a little awkward at moments, but here's the other part too. Yeah, pages are new, and swords are about air, the element of air, so your mind, your intellect, your thoughts. But this card literally shows thunderclouds. Those clouds are made of water, so this is going to have some emotional release. So expect emotions to be part of this. Yes, what you're going through is a cognitive, it's an intellectual, it's a perception shift, but it is also going to catalyst other things to happen, like emotions. So yeah, your emotions are also going to become a part of this and get involved in this, and that's completely normal and 100% okay. Then we have the Knight of Pentacles in its reverse position. I love how I asked about, how to love ourselves, and we have a card that literally has an image of reflection on it, and it's an elephant at that. So let's talk about the Knight of Pentacles here. This is the only knight that does not like to be rushed. This knight understands that everything has a season, reason, time, and place. It likes everything to follow its natural order of, spring, summer, fall, winter. And this knight is also very curious about what it needs to do in order to cultivate long term. This knight doesn't care about the short term, it cares about the long term. And I have this in its reverse position, and what this is telling me is right now you're feeling really rushed, you're feeling really aggravated, and you're feeling kind of out of place, and that's okay. Because what I haven't mentioned yet is that Pentacles is not just about finances, it's about time and energy, because you spend time and you spend energy. And right now, you're being asked to spend your time and energy in new ways that feel uncomfortable for you. And so it's going to take a minute. Whenever you're learning something, whenever you're giving yourself an ability to change something, it's slow at first, and that's okay. Don't let yourself feel pressured or rushed from outside sources. I don't care if it's a friend who's on the same journey as you and seems to find this easier to do than you. I don't care if it's a coach or a leader that you're looking up to who says this is where you should be. You are where you are, and you are exactly where you need to be. A flower can't change its growth rate. You can't force a flower or a tree to grow faster just by wanting it to grow faster. There needs to be certain conditions and things that allow it in order to flourish more. But again, it still has to go through its own natural processes, and that's what you're dealing with right now. So don't get upset with yourself. Don't beat yourself up. This is part of the process. And here we have the Seven of Cups in its reverse position. So this tells me that you've had options and opportunities presented to you, and you finally made a decision. Seven of Cups is all about having a plethora of opportunities, and when it's in its upright position, that can be really overwhelming, but when it's reversed, you've made your decision. Trust in the decision that you've made and move forward with it. The Seven of Cups also reminds you that, when you're starting something or when you're doing something, when you're presented with something, your emotions about it are excited at first. And then once you start to unbox whatever it is or go further with the whatever it is, your emotions are going to change a bit. They're not going to stay consistent. It's okay, so starting a YouTube channel. My emotions about how to handle this have changed drastically from the beginning to where I am now. And it's been an emotional roller coaster, but this is the opportunity that I chose. This is the cup that I chose. Some days it feels heavy. Some days it's aggravating. Other days it's fun and, enlightening. So understand that your own decision, your own opportunity, whatever your choice is going to have the same type of follow through. And just because there's times where it feels hard and discerning and just aggravating, it's not that means it was wrong for you. It just means that right now you have opportunities for growth, for learning. So give yourself the chance to understand that, yeah, you did pick this option. And this option, if you picked it with your heart and it felt right, truly, then it's right for you. And if all signs point out and say this isn't the option, then you have it to pivot. But right now, I really feel like what's holding you back is that you were expecting this to be easy and fun the whole way. And it's not going to be easy and fun the whole way. That's not what it's meant to be. It's meant to be a journey. Then we have the Four of Swords in its reverse position. And this is that card of integration, of needing to get yourself back out there. Because when we first get the Four of Swords, okay, I'm sorry, my cat is about to make a mess on my desk. So we're going to go forward, and whatever mess he makes is what we're just going to deal with. So the Four of Swords in its reverse position is that reminder that, yes, you've rested, you've had time to recover. I like to liken this to a surgery. And when you have some type of surgery, you need that initial recovery period. You need that initial rest, heal, and do nothing period. And now you're at the point where you're starting to do physical therapy again. And when you start doing physical therapy, it's slow at first, but eventually it gets easier and easier as you move along, and then you move forward and you're just doing it without even thinking now. That's where you're at right now. Whatever it is that has put you in that initial position of need to rest, need to retreat, it's no longer the need to stay with it anymore. It's now time to start slowly integrating again and putting yourself back out there and doing what it is that you need to do for yourself. And then we have the Ace of Cups in its reverse position. Aces are always about new beginnings, and they're upright or reverse position, I don't care. So when I see this in its reverse position, I understand that you have a new beginning, you have a new opportunity, you have this thing, but instead of feeling excited for it, you're more anxious, you're more fearful, you're more worried, and it's that blank canvas effect. It's the fact that you have this thing and you were looking for it, and now that you have it, you're like, what do I do with it? Do I start throwing pain at it? What if I make a wrong decision? What if I ruin it? What if whatever I do, accidentally destroys it? And here's the thing. The anxiety, the fear are just holding you back from the true happiness. Because the true happiness is in the doing of the thing. And yeah, you're probably going to mess up every once in a while. You're probably going to get part of it wrong. It's part of the process. If you were to get it all right, you would be the only person that could go through from beginning to end of something and do everything exactly right. That's how unrealistic your expectation about this is. So swallow your fear and doubt and anxiety and be like, okay, you know what? I am going to get this wrong at points. And that's okay, because it's part of the process. The thing I kind of like to remind people is when a kid is learning how to walk, okay? When a baby's learning how to walk, they go boop, 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 and they fall. It's inevitable. It's part of the process. And when the baby falls, we go, yay! And we clap and everything gets exciting. And then the kid gets back up and they walk and it's a whole thing. Like, you've done it. You've seen it. So right now, you're worried about that initial fall. This Ace of Cups in its reverse position tells me that you just want to walk and keep walking and you don't want to ever stop. But that's not how it's going to work. You're going to walk, you're going to go boop, 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 and then you're going to fall. And understand that that's okay, because that is part of the process. What matters is what you do when you fall. Do you give yourself grace? Do you give yourself compassion? Do you allow yourself to be like, what can I learn from this? Or do you beat yourself up over it? Do you put yourself down because you should have known better? Another question I want to point out before I get more cards is when that inevitable fall does happen. And I'm not saying like fall flat on your face and everything's ruined. I'm just saying like you're going to make mistakes. Okay, that's all I'm getting at here. The fall is a mistake. The fall is, oops, I didn't know any better. The fall is, oh, that's cringe. That's what I'm talking about. So when you do make that mistake, if it was your friend doing it, would you beat them up and give them such a hard time about it? Because if you wouldn't do that for them, why are you doing that for yourself? I'm curious to know more about this perception shift and the Seven of Cups too. Like, there's a lot of resistance going on. We have one upright, the rest are all reversed. So that tells me that there's a lot of resistance about whatever this perception shift was and this new opportunity and this new beginning that you have going on right now are. So I want to know more information about where all this resistance is coming from and why we're letting it just take over. And I get it. You know, I have friends and family who question things I do, and sometimes I let them, hold me back when I shouldn't have, but other times I followed myself. There was consequences with both of those responses, so let's just see what the tarot cards, these are oracle cards. Let's see what the oracle cards have to say. Unexpected blessings. This tells me that you've already received the unexpected blessing, not that you don't know what it is. It happened, and the fact that, it came out of nowhere is part of the issue. Because what you've received, what this unexpected blessing is it was something, it was like a curveball. It was something that came far out of left field, and you're just like, what do I do with this? How do I manage this? Am I even the right person to receive or handle what this is? And when you find yourself in a position for something that you weren't prepared for, and now all the responsibilities landed on you, that will cause a lot of resistance. But understand, it wouldn't have been given to you if you couldn't handle it. And I say this with the caveat that I'm a person that suffered a lot of abuse, neglect, and other things as a child, and I didn't deserve that, okay? So if your unexpected blessing is something that you think is along those lines, that's not a blessing. That's something completely different. An unexpected blessing is a blessing. If it's responsibility, like a child or an animal or something along those lines, it's still a blessing. So I don't want you to take what I say about this card, and when I say that Spirit wouldn't give you more than you can handle, I'm not talking about abuse or the negative things. I'm talking about the good things in your life. And sometimes, yes, the good things in our life can give us this type of resistance and fear. So, yeah. Spiritual bath. Okay, so part of the thing is right now, like I was talking about with this card, that perception shift, is you are going through a point in your life where you are cleansing, you are releasing, you're going through a shift. There's no way to say anything about it. And when I see spiritual bath, it's that reminder that you are going to be releasing and shedding a lot of things that you thought were you, when you're going to realize that they weren't you. They were what people said you should be or, had to be. But they're not actually you. So spiritual bath is coming through and saying, allow yourself to shed, allow yourself to cleanse, allow yourself to release. We don't need to hold on to what we thought when it's no longer serving us. And part of the problem is during this transition period that you're going through right now is you have this identity that you thought was yours for how long? And now you're finding out that this identity was created, and it was almost a mask and a costume that was created and that you willingly put on and accepted, and now it's not you. And that's okay. That's the point of the spiritual bath. That's the point of all of this. You're releasing and you're moving forward. Shadow self. I literally was talking about how society had created a mask and a costume and you actively put it on. This card comes through and says, society told you you were a tabby cat when you're really a lion. Your shadow is not in any way evil or like darkness or like bad parts of you. Yes, it is darkness, but it's not bad parts of you. Darkness is not bad. Your shadow loves you so much. It is unconditional love. Your shadow remembers all your dreams, hopes, and aspirations that you had before people told you no. Your shadow also, yes, remembers the hurtful things that have happened to you, the embarrassing things that happened to you. But here's the thing. This lion holds on to those things until you're ready to process them. And when a lot of people think or know of their shadow is when they're triggered. Here's the thing about that. That's when your shadow said, I've had enough. I've had enough of being stepped on, of being put down, of, just being walked on like a walking mat. I've had enough of our boundaries not mattering. I've had enough. Your shadow loves you so much to say, we deserve better. And it's up to you to listen. It's up to you to do the work. It's up to you to connect. And yeah, it's going to be a journey. It's going to be a process, but you can do this. You know you can. Hopeful. Our last card here. So, I understand that you had something come in, and I'm not exactly sure what this exact event was or this thing was that you received, but it's given you hope, and that scares you. And you're like, Kirsten, hope shouldn't scare me. I get it. But here's the thing. When you've lived one way for so long, when you've been doing something for so long that it's your norm, it's your routine, you just expect it, it's, the thing that you just know what to do, even if it's not healthy for you, it can be completely toxic and wrong for you, but you know what's going to happen, you know what's going to come next, you know the patterns, the behaviors, and then you're like, oh my God, there's better. This isn't normal. I can do something better. I can live a happier life. It's okay if that feels scary. Because the reason it feels scary is because it's unknown and it's unfamiliar, and your ego right away, when it sees anything unknown or unfamiliar, it goes, hold up, stop, I don't know about that. Even if it's better for you, your ego likes predictability. Your ego likes things to be the same. It likes to know what's going to happen. So this opportunity, this thing that you've received, whatever it is, it could be something that is so beautifully better for you. It could be the perfect thing for you, and your ego's naturally going to be like, hold up, I don't know about that. And that feels conflicting. And that's where you're at right now, and that's okay. Again, that's part of the process. This hopeful card 100% goes with this Ace of Cups card about you having that new beginning, of you having the ability, of you making that decision that you made with the Seven of Cups here. It is 100% about all of that. And I want you to understand that this new beginning, this new transition, this whatever it is that you specifically are going through is just all the feelings that you're feeling is part of the process, actually. It's 100% part of the process. If you didn't feel those things, you wouldn't be human. So instead of seeing those as red flags or stopping points or confirmation that you're wrong, realize it's just part of the process. Yes, you're shedding things. Yes, you're letting things go. Yes, this feels really uncomfortable and different, but it's okay. Instead of seeing this discomfort as a bad thing, ask yourself, lean into it and be like, what can I learn from this? Why does this feel uncomfortable? Start asking those questions about it, and you'll find it's not as scary. So what can we do to help us get past this resistance? What is it that we can do to help us move forward and to understand that this is just part of the process. Interesting that I flipped that card over first, because that's not my norm. Alright, so the card that got flipped differently was friction, and I actually love that, because what you're feeling really is friction right now. Spirit's trying to come across and let you know and understand that friction is part of the process. And friction is that initial resistance, and that's okay. It is part of the process. Think about like when you plant a seed, okay? You plant a seed and it starts to grow up, and as it grows, it has to push against the dirt. That's just part of it. And when it gets past the dirt, there's nothing really like trying to keep it down. But the dirt isn't necessarily trying to keep it down either. The dirt is just the dirt. It's just there doing what it's supposed to do. It's just that the seedling has to fight against what is there in order to crest and break through. And that's exactly what you're feeling right now. You're feeling that pressure. You're feeling that uncomfortableness. You're wanting to crest above the ground and, get to that sunlight. And right now you're just in that like darkness spot. You're in that seedling spot. You're in that beginning spot. And that's okay. Don't get upset about it. I mean, you're allowed to be upset about it in the sense of like, yes, if it's uncomfortable, allow it to be uncomfortable, but don't think it's something wrong. Don't be upset about yourself in the sense of don't be disappointed that you're going through this friction when this friction is 100% part of the process. Connection. This is important. As you're going through this shift, as you're going through this change, as you're starting this journey, as you're handling and dealing with all this, it's important to talk to other people. But it's also important to talk to the people who are right for you. Don't talk to the people who are trying to keep you small, who are trying to keep you in place, who have forced this mask on you. Talk to the people who use your community, who is going to help support you during this transition and this change. And if you're going to be like, Kirsten, I don't have anyone, then go ahead and tell us what's going on in the comments. Let us be your community. Because the thing is, I don't care how overwhelmed you are by the people that are trying to keep you in this mask with this costume that has been put on you. You start being yourself, you start doing yourself, you start being the person that you're supposed to be, then the people who are meant for you to find you will find you. And they will help you and they will support you. And I say this as somebody who grew up in a very Catholic, right-wing type of lifestyle. And I'm not any of that anymore. And I've completely shed all the identities that were given to me as a child and a teenager. And I have found my own people and my own family that love me as I am, with the views I have, with the understanding, with the identities that I have now. Not the ones that I've shed. Not the ones that I shed way long in the past, because those identities were not mine. So you will find your people if right now you have nobody. And again, if you have nobody, there's always the comment section. Listen. This one's huge. And it's not listen to other people, it's listen to yourself. Listen to your intuition. Listen to your inner voice. Listen to what resonates, what feels right. Again, as long as you aren't hurting anybody else or yourself, it doesn't matter. If it feels right, if the message that you're hearing, if someone's telling you that you should, wear whatever clothes you want to wear, the bright, colorful clothes, or if you want to do the dark gothic aesthetic, whatever it is you want to do, and that just sends goosebumps to you, then do that. Because there's some part of you that understands this is who I am. So listen to your body, listen to your inside voice, listen to your own intuition and see what it has to say to you. Let it guide you. Let it be the thing that tells you where to start when you're afraid to start. Part of the fear and part of the anxiety comes from your ego, and your ego is not going to help you in this. It's your highest self. It's your internal self. So listen to that part of yourself, because that's where the help is going to be. And then balance. This one's really important. Balance is that reminder that it's okay for you to do something new and then go back into the known. Which feels counterintuitive, I get it. But I like to say life's a cha-cha. You move forward, you move backwards. You go and do what's unknown and scary for a little bit, and then that feels overwhelming, so you go back to what's comfortable, and that's okay. It's okay. It's part of the process. Balance is also important here because it's balance of self-care and work life too. So you need to make sure that you are prioritizing your self-care, but don't prioritize self-care so much that you neglect the mundane that we have to live in. Bills still need to get paid, groceries still need to be on the table, you still need to do what you need to do in order to live. So balance. Balance is something that is different for everybody too. I want to point this out. And over time, your version of balance might shift, it might change, and that's okay too. So ask yourself, am I giving myself as much self-care as I need, as I am working and doing things for other people? Or am I just doing so much of one thing that I'm neglecting everything else? Let's just ask for some encouragement now, because this is a lot, and you're going through a lot right now, and I get that. And it's uncomfortable, and it's difficult, and it feels like everything's just at battle right now, and it kind of is. It's your ego at battle with what it knows to do and it wants to do, versus your higher self saying, hey, let's try this thing that's actually better for us. So, the first thing we have, love finds its way to me in forms I never expected. I'm sorry. I'll repeat that. Love finds its way to me in forms I never expect. That's beautiful. This is a self-love reading. And this is that reminder that you don't have to actively go after love. You do have to choose to love yourself. But receiving outside love isn't something you ever have to do anything for. You are worthy of love just by being you. So understand that love does find its way to you in many forms, and some of them, when you allow yourself to be open to receive, to just be you, you'll be surprised where this love comes from. I am allowed to pause. Nothing sacred will rush me. If you ever want to know a quick way to find a red flag in a relationship with somebody, is if they rush you to make decisions. There's like 0.1% of your decisions that should be made instantly. And those are only like life or death situations where, a life is at risk. Anything other than that literally can wait. There's pause. There's need for pause. And if a decision isn't being allowed to have its chance to be thought of, to be thought through, to be felt through, then it's not going to feel right. And yeah, I also want to talk about the unexpected blessing, because you're like, Kirsten, I really didn't have time to handle the unexpected blessing. Again, there are the decisions that you have to make instantaneously, but they are very minute amount of decisions in your life. So moving forward, if something is being rushed or pushed or pressured onto you, that's not healthy and that's not sacred. You are allowed to pause. Nothing sacred will rush you. Understand that rest and pause and, giving yourself the ability to think things through is important, and that is self-love. There is light holding me even when I can't see it. You are love. Not only are you loved, but you are love, and you are always worthy of love. And the universe, spirit, God, I don't care what it is that you believe in, loves you. And there's times where you don't feel it, and I get that. I've been in dark spots. I've been in spots where I didn't know how I was even going to, get to my next day, and let alone have an idea of where I was sleeping that night because, situations happened. But spirit always pulls through if you're willing to listen. There is light holding you even when you can't see it. You are loved, and you are taken care of in ways that you don't know or understand. And again, I say this as someone who has lived an abusive life, who as a child, I, did not have conditions that were conducive to a healthy, childhood. But I look back and I can still see that there were parts that, in the darkest parts, I still was able to find light. And you yourself can do the same, mainly in hindsight. But in case you need to hear it now because you're in this dark spot, remember that you are light and you are love. The love I long for lives quietly inside of me now. This one's huge, and this is a beautiful way to wrap up this self-love reading. Because the love that you've longed for living quietly inside of you shows the growth and the truth about what love is. The love for yourself that you create and cultivate for yourself can never be diminished by outside influences, ever. Other people's opinions and feelings and affections, those can change. But the love that you have for yourself stays constant, stays steady. And if you can go through the journey from beginning to end, and there really is no end, but there becomes a point where it almost becomes a plateau. And if you can get through this journey, if you can love yourself, if you can truly do the work and, go each step of the way, crying, screaming, loving, laughing, whatever it is that you need to do, and realize that what you have inside of you is the most beautiful thing of all, you will be unstoppable. Nothing will get in your way again. It will be you and the universe will listen to you, because the love that you have will be so infinite, will be so full, will be so overwhelming that it will answer to whatever it is that you want. And you're gonna be like, Kirsten, that's nonsense and that sounds like magic bullshit, yada yada. All right, then prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Go through the journey, love yourself, do what it is that you need to do in order to give yourself the love, the grace, the compassion, the empathy that you need for yourself. And then once you've done all that, then come and say, okay, Kirsten, I did all this. And here's the response. Because you know what? I get it. I've been on the journey for a long time, but I've plateaued, and I know that it's one of those things that the universe is still constantly working for me, even when I feel disappointment and doubts and worries and fears. But it's the love that I have for me inside of me that is able to keep my confidence and move forward. And you're going to do it too. And you're going to do it beautifully or ugly. Either way, there's no right or wrong way to do this. It's your journey. Make the most of it. And you are going to succeed. I know this because you've made it to this end of this reading. You've listened to every word. And your heart, there's a part of it that 100% is already there. Already knows you can succeed and is happy to see it through. And you are going to do that. You're going to succeed, and you're going to love yourself so much that you will only accept what is right for you, and you won't have doubts or fears. You won't have worries that keep betraying you. You won't be wearing someone else's costume, and you won't be wearing a mask that's been created for you by others. You'll be authentically you 100%, and you will be free. This is all I got for you today. This is your reading. I wish you the best. I can't wait to hear your success story. I love you so much. I will see you again real soon. Bye-bye.